Let's see if I remember this by heart. Welcome to another episode of Good Earners. And here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finesse, and finances and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective.
Oh, he got it.
There he is.
This guy, I scored
Like
a
he never
120.
left.
Scored a 120 on my SAT. I know it's been a long time. Y'all haven't heard our voices. Y'all know me, of course, Maurice Hunter III, aka Mo, but I'm not alone here with my two capos, Spike Lou, Big Rich Town. Fellas, we are back in this thing. How are y'all feeling at this current moment, man?
Good, man. Well, you know, what do you say?
Yeah, man. It feels good
Miss
to be
being
back
in
in
the
the fold.
Sopranos world, man.
Even if it is just for a second. You know what I mean? It feels good being back.
I'm talking about too, just watching it every week. I got to think.
I know.
We've been watching it every week for like a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the show. So just not having that like comfort show that I'm going to throw this on because we got to review it. Take some notes, pay close attention and shit. Like I don't have that show that I'm doing that for anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's all new shit and stuff like that. I need to get a classic show back started.
It's funny you say that because I've been looking for something to watch. I started a Marvel rewatch and then fell off and then I picked back up. So I've been doing that. But you know what? I just started rewatching 2 days ago because I just couldn't find anything to watch.
What's that?
I ran back Ballers.
Okay.
You know, I never watched it.
You never watched Ballers?
Hey. Put that on your list, bro. Put that on there.
It's one of those shows. I will say this: it's one of those shows. The early seasons are much different than the middle, later seasons.
That's why I couldn't get past the early seasons in The Rock acting. But what I will say though, Rich, you bullshitting, because what I've been watching,
Temptation Island. You know what? I forget because I don't think of it as real TV, bro, and that's probably why.
It's not, and maybe that's the switch that I needed from The Sopranos, kind of like a palate cleanse. This is popcorn TV, but
hey, I got some popcorn TV that when I went to Indy, my wife and they got me watching Pop the Balloon, bro, on YouTube.
Oh my God, yeah, you might as well watch Temptation Island.
But the craziest part of it, like I actually
it's on Netflix.
What? No, I'm not watching the
Temptation Island.
Oh, Temptation Island.
The last season is on Netflix, and then the previous 5 seasons are on Peacock. I've watched season 6, 2, 5, and 4. I'm on 4 now.
Why are you watching them out of order?
I tried the first season. The first season wasn't really nothing to me. You might like it, but that wasn't nothing. The second season is some of the greatest TV that you go. This is some of the greatest TV you gonna watch. That second season, bro, and this 5th season right up there with it. Like it's just the experiment of men and women and like the situations they put them in is like fascinating to me, man. Mo, you might appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that.
Like, do you know the premise, Mo?
Nah.
Have I told you? So the premise, and for all y'all listening, is like couples that are on the edge. It's like, is we doing the right thing? Should we go ahead and get married? Or like, why we ain't took that next step yet? They go to an island, it's 4 couples. They put them in a house with like 12 single people. The single people is trying to convince them that like, you doing like, or they trying to be their friend. Like it ain't always like sexual. Like it's some single people that are just like kicking game and shit like that. And then some of them there's like, nah, I'm finna fuck your bitch, my nigga. Like this is what's gonna happen.
I love your girl.
Hey, it was a nigga. It was a nigga on hey, bro. It was a nigga so disrespectful on season 2. This ain't a spoiler because you ain't gonna know who I'm talking about, but you might get to it. The nigga first night, like the couple split up, they went to they different spaces. One of the homie chicks first night got took down. That nigga looked at the camera because they got to do the little confessionals, and they said, "I'm the big dog now." Like, hey, bro, it was I cried, and his bitch was right behind him, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they did." You know how bitches be.
Yeah,
I can't believe they did that.
I don't usually do this.
Nigga was crushed. He was crushed.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Had to see his queen get put through the mattress. Boy, hey man, I was crying. Boy.
Hey, listen, but
they check the weapons at the door because niggas will get shot fucking around with that game.
But Spike, he good with it. So as long as she ain't messing, she ain't going to his bird feeder. He good with that.
Hey, exactly.
He good with that.
Oh, that's funny, boy. Hey, but yeah, y'all appreciate this. This is some wild TV right here, man.
Yeah, man. I also been watching like Nip Tuck. I know that's like kind of an early. I feel like it's like a.
watching Nip
Have you
Tuck
seen it
since
before?
No, I my mom watched it when I was young. I never could get into because I was like, it seems a little gory, a little bit, like a little too much, fat and blood and all that. But now that I'm older, I can handle a little better. So I'm actually at the last season now. But it's like this is definitely
Really?
early prestige TV. Like I can see where they definitely jumped the shark now.
This is one of the craziest TV shows I've ever seen. Like
Nip Tuck?
easily, Nip
Yeah,
Tuck.
season 4 they
easily.
go so it goes so wild that they really got to wait. They must have switched
Hey,
showrunners or something.
what the son doing now? Where you at?
Where I'm at, the son is trying to get into like miming. I'm at the last season. He on some bullshit.
Favorite part, bro. I was like, man, what?
That's why I said
that
the
nigga's
integrity
a
of
loser,
bro.
nigga.
The integrity of the show, like them first 3 seasons, is heat because it like to get the reveal with the son, the woman who find out all that them first 3 seasons is heat. But then like season 4, they moved to California and like the whole Hollywood thing, like they've jumped the shark. That whole
it's kind of
like,
clunky, yeah. But
then like
that's
his wife is all of a sudden gay and. Well, I had to look up the writer.
It's a wild TV show.
Yeah, the
bro.
writer, the writer of the show is gay, so it all made sense to me.
That makes sense.
That made perfect sense to me. So, but good show. Like I think I don't think I'm gonna finish season 5. I think I'm gonna go on get off the train because season 4, like it started off fun and like a fresh palette, but then they jumped the shark so much that it's ridiculous.
I think you should see it through though, because I felt the same way. I just watched it last year. Like I felt the same way when I got. Today I was like, bro, they like when the son said he was gonna be a mime, it was funny, but I was also like, come on, bro, like a mime.
They're just writing anything. Like they have like disrespected like the little blonde chick that Christian was messing with. Like she was like had a heart, but they just made her like the worst. Everybody's the worst now. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, y'all have lost the integrity of these characters because they really slow built in them early seasons, and now it's clickbait. Even though I know it's an old show, but
yeah, solid show though. Solid show. I think you should finish it. Don't let this deter you from finishing it. That would be my 2 cents. Because it's worth finishing to be like, I've seen all of Nip Tuck. You don't want to say I stopped the season.
I know 4. That's why I'm like, but it was I was like struggling. But since you said it, bro, I am gonna go and finish it. I'm gonna go.
Rich, have you seen it? You've seen Nip Tuck, right? Oh, okay.
No, I can't wait to get into it based off your Raven reviews.
Oh yeah. It's
the craziest TV show.
Plastic surgery. Stupid. Nah, seriously.
Pick up on it.
But seriously, like plastic surgery is you think it's one way, but there are like life-saving elements to plastic surgery that it did educate me on some things that I never thought about. I was like, damn, I never thought about how life-changing plastic surgery could be. Not just like, oh, I need to lose weight or I'm not attractive, but like, when they got like serial killers like slashing faces and stuff, it's like, bro, you repairing them, bring them back. It's got some stuff there, man. But I'm gonna finish that season 5. But y'all are not here for that. Y'all are here because y'all can see in the title.
That little pregame talk.
Yeah, a little pregame talk. Man. Hey, y'all got to soak this whole thing up, like for real. Pause if needed.
Jesus.
Hey, I said, hey, can y'all relax? let the play out, bro. Like I didn't even get to finish. My goodness, these dudes so ready to throw the flag.
That's how egregious
they got the hand on the hip, ready to throw the flag, dude.
I'm that rep that's thirsty to give out the text. I've been waiting to give you this text since the last time we played.
The whistle on the neck, boy. Like
that's funny.
But y'all can see in the title. We're gonna do a soprano bracket. Shout out to Kiori for setting this up for us. We meant to do it in March. Obviously, timeline got effed up. But we're here in May, so we'll call it May Madness. But before we get into that bracket, we got a couple of treat things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into our emails. The second thing we're going to do, we're not going to hold y'all up. We're going to give y'all the big reveal of what's the next show so y'all can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube as well as our podcast feed and the Instagram page. So first, let's get into the emails. So our first one is from Acid Jack from our Made in America episode.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Before you get into it, since we ended the show, I was able to go back and watch the episode that Mo did the infamous email.
Oh my God.
Still holds up. Still one of the funniest things that I've seen. Because Mo, here's what I'm thinking, Mo. I think it might have been a while since you watched it. The lead up is what's funny because you were really giving praise, like we can't do none of this without you. We appreciate your feedback. We about to get into some emails, about to read them, and just for you to abruptly stop.
Y'all never let me live this down.
Like it's oh man, I forgot all of that, and it makes it even more funny because you were singing the praises and then did everything that you said, everything against what you just said. And was shocked. You were shocked. You didn't see the issue. That might be the funniest part. You didn't see the issue with it. Like you didn't understand why me and Spike were laughing so hard. That might be the funniest part of that whole thing. I just had to say that before
I'm mad that out of your busy schedule and all the things that you're involved in and all the traveling you do, you found time.
Yeah, I had to. I had to make sure. I had to make sure. Does it stand up? And I watched, man. I'm like, that's gold, man. That's a gold moment.
That's gold, Jerry. That's gold.
Anyway, man, get back to the email, man.
But Acid Jack left a YouTube comment on our Made in America episode. He says, "Oh my God, Mo gets pegged by that email ending. Bit worse than Ralphie actually getting nailed for real by Janice." Shout out, bro.
Acid Jack. Wow, what you on, bro?
Boy, listen.
I get what he's saying.
I get what he's saying. Crazy, boy, you
crazy verbiage.
You are tiptoeing in Andrew Schultz territory right now. No, I'm just playing. He says, "Shout out Michelle." I see. It's funny you said that. It's lined up. He says, "I go back to that Cold Cuts episode of Good Earners all the time, just to laugh at Spike and Rich roast Mo with zero mercy after he decommits to that email." And then he put parentheses for y'all that don't know. Season 5, episode 10.
For y'all that watched on YouTube, if y'all had seen my face though, I was thoroughly confused.
Man. Oh my gosh, bro.
Man. Yeah, that's a great moment.
That's funny you said that he had that. Hey, shout out Acid Jack, man. Chill on the pegging though, bro. It's a little out there, bro.
That's hilarious, man. Hey.
So we got I think this is our bruv, if I'm correct. But he put in the subject line, Good Earners ending and new show. So he says, I knew you guys were going to end the episode like that. Looking forward to the reveal and also more back of the being, especially the character analysis. A Johnny Sack analysis would be great. Just an idea. Have you all considered doing a film review? A casino review would be good. Dean.
Yeah, bruv. We actually have been discussing that. Obviously, many states of Newark, even though there might not be a ton of enthusiasm, it almost feels incomplete to do this without discussing that.
That's true.
I'm a part of a film podcast. I founded one that's up running weekly episode, so we might use that format to talk about these movies. But
give them the name, man.
Yeah, Culture Garden Podcast. My bad, man. I need to get better at promoting myself. I show up to work and I clock out and go home, man.
Hey, no, I get you.
But yeah, and like we've done some movies, like we did Carlito's Way and some other things, but I'd love to bring that here and talk about some of the famous mob gangster movies and all that. So I can see that's something happening. I could also see it possibly being something where we have a way to set up a Patreon. So it might be one of those things where we have some, you pay for a little bit of access to get some of those reviews. Trust me, it'll be worth it if y'all listen to the episodes. But this is something that's going to be around for a while. Maybe not Sopranos related, but the three of us discussing television shows scene by scene. As we mentioned, we'll give the reveal of the next one. So yeah, something will be here on the horizon very soon. Dean, just be tapped in. Make sure you're subscribed. Still follow us, and you'll get all that information. Appreciate the love.
Spike, you got anything to add to that?
I mean, we appreciate the email. Yeah, there's some good gangster movies. Review, check out the Frames Per Second podcast. I do that over with Dead End. Shout out to those guys. We just finished what's the name of it, Rich?
Thunderbolt.
We just did Thunderbolts. You can go check out the Sinners review live. We did that. It's on YouTube. So yeah, we are dibbling dabbling in different movies, but I don't really ever get to talk gangster movies. We actually are doing Heat next week, so that should be fun. But
That's a heist movie.
yeah,
I don't even know if that's a gangster movie. That's a
that ain't
heist
even.
movie.
Yeah, you're right. That ain't a gangster movie, but it got some gangster lines in there.
Fair.
Didn't
But
you say you don't like you're not a fan of Donnie Brasco, right?
no. I ain't a fan of Dr. Nebraska. I might have to revisit it and check it
I
out.
think it was. I didn't think it was that bad. I
I
watched it
ain't
a few
really
years ago.
fuck
I
with
didn't
it.
think it was bad.
I didn't really fuck with that for some reason. But yeah, go check out the Frames Per Second podcast. Ask for those type of movies that remind you of The Sopranos or that came before The Sopranos that set with the same type of sentiment. Yeah, that would be something that we could explore and look into and give to y'all.
Yeah, all the things they said, and yes, Casino is definitely on the horizon. Will it be Patreon? Won't it be?
Casino,
Yeah,
Godfather,
Godfather 1 and 2,
Goodfellas,
Goodfellas,
yeah,
Scarface.
Scarface.
Godfather,
Scarface,
Goodfellas, Scarface, Casino. You seen what that last run did to De
did to
Niro, man. Shout out to
Niro.
Hove, man. Bar for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
A lot of
So
stuff, man. King of New York.
King of New York. Oh
Um,
yeah, King of New York. That's a good little flip on the,
Mm.
kind of
maybe even
us in that
maybe even
world.
go back to the 80s, discuss the Untouchables.
I'm down. Like I
And
love.
a good slept on one. I don't know if y'all seen it. Is Gotti. It's two of them,
I
not the
The
one with
one with John Travolta?
not the one with John
I
Travolta.
was
The
about
other
to
one.
say. I'm about to say
I
Spike
got
bumped
my
his head.
man. Now I got.
he's
It's
smoking that.
another
He's
one with
smoking that
Gotti that's
Christopher
good.
Moltisanti, boy.
It's another one with Gotti that's good
Yeah,
though.
I know what you're talking about. The one, of course, a Bronx Tale.
I'm about to say, yeah,
Oh,
I was gonna say Bronx Tale, of course. That goes without saying.
Absolutely. That's probably gonna be
There's a
on the
ton of
early
them.
docket. That's the early docket for sure. But yeah, and also go check out Childish Grownups. So
Matter of fact,
we're all three are part of Film Review Podcast. So you get your fix in any style that you're looking for in regards to film review. So Frames Per Second, Culture Garden, and Childish Grownups. Go
yeah,
check
and
all
matter of
three of those out.
fact, while we're on it, send us some suggestions. If there's some movies you want us to discuss,
Mm-hmm.
send them in to us.
Yeah.
We'll look to set it up and get things rolling.
And even the rest in peace to the late great Jimmy James Gandolfini. Even just the stemmy on that, where it's like all his movies ain't necessarily gangster, but I would like to just dedicate at some point, like we just getting into some of his top films. You know what I mean? Just because I was looking at some on YouTube, a Soprano YouTube, and they were getting into like the book that just came out. There's a recent book that just came out, and just kind of giving you the cliff notes. But it really made me interested. And then even then, I might send it to you, y'all, but like where we could see some of the remnants of how Tony Soprano was developed through another film he was a part of. I'll send that to y'all when we off air. But man, thanks, Dean. Man, we appreciate that. And absolutely, man, you will get Casino. Y'all, man, listen, you're only good as your last envelope. Go subscribe to the Patreon.
Straight up.
or at least
man.
the YouTube page.
At least the YouTube for sure.
At
but
the very least, the YouTube page.
Yeah, price of the brick going up.
Going up.
We got another one from our Made in America episode. Jeffrey Kovich, 9875. Not every episode of The Sopranos is made, but every episode of Good Earners is. I enjoyed your breakdown of the episode way more than the actual episode. From now on, when I watch the last episode, I'm going to listen to you guys as if it's a companion piece. There's a very good chance in the future I'll revisit your podcast instead of watching The Sopranos. That's how awesome your podcast is. Nice job, Mo. Got a little anxious for a minute thinking you were going to reveal that what you're doing next. Even better cliffhanger that Sopranos, because I know something awesome is coming. That's from Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, thank you, sir. That's great.
My goodness.
Great compliments.
Yeah, what do you say to that? Thank you. That's all you can say, man. Appreciate you for listening.
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Can't wait to continue this journey. Like I said, there's a lot more coming. So pause. So yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Do you think? Well, let me ask. Y'all both were like big Wire fans. Have y'all come across?
What you mean word, nigga?
I say
Right.
y'all. Did I say word?
Still the greatest television.
Hey, Mo used to get mad at me when
Hey.
I used to say, "Yeah, we covering the second best TV." He'd say, "Hey, man, stop promoting
listen,
our show as the second."
You
I'm like, "You right."
You stepping on the
I'm
brick.
like, "You right." For marketing, you right.
That was
You right.
crazy. Hey, as the second best show, we're reviewing. Like, hold up. Like, what?
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. My fault. But what are you about to say about the wire?
You want it to be one way. It's the other way.
Nah, hey, listen, all due respect. You know what I mean? Now, I wanted to ask, is there any for real, two questions. One, is there any Fire Wire podcast to y'all?
Not that I've heard of. Van and Jamel Hill did one back in 2020, I'd say. So it's about 5 years old, but it was good, but it wasn't.
It wasn't this.
In my opinion, I think we could smoke it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good though. But they also didn't do it seeing the way we do it.
Okay.
And there was a lot of things that I had to. Whenever you listen to something that you're a fan of and you hear people talk about it, and there's things in your head that you can say that you feel would make it better, that's when you kind of know. So it's not bad at all. I would probably go back and listen to it again if it wasn't for the fact that I know that I have a lot more knowledge, wire knowledge and insight, and probably can do all that. So, yeah, but it was good.
So that dispute. Cause my second question is going to be, could y'all have this type of experience? But since there isn't a pod that exists that gives you the same experience that Jeff has had, then the second question won't. Because I'm just
I got one.
What
I got
that make you say I will listen to pod instead of going back and watching it because it's so good?
I can with Jim and Aaron when they break downs of the Sopranos. I mean, not the Sopranos. Game of Thrones. I think it's called Watching the Throne or some shit like that. I think it might be called Watching the Throne. But you know the guys I'm talking about. You said you heard of before, right?
They did Walking Dead. Yeah.
They did
some
they did
BC shows.
They do a lot. They did Game of Thrones. So much information.
I never listened to them when
all the backstories and who this person is. One person had read the book, like I think Jim read the book. Aaron didn't, giving you context. So like it made the experience of watching The Sopranos much better. I could go back and listen to those without it. So that would be my one. I think it's called Watching the Throne. I'm not sure, but that's probably one of the best TV show podcasts. And they do Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul too, which is they okay on. So.
It's so interesting. Like what we'll talk about it once we get to the review. Okay. All right. So man, thank you, Jeffrey. Man, we appreciate that. That is quite the honor to say that I may not watch The Sopranos, but I'm just gonna listen to you guys talk about it. That is an honor. Like, for real.
And put it in perspective.
Absolutely. He actually doubled back on the episode too.
Oh.
Shout out to Jeffrey, man, coming back, spinning the block. He says, anyone finding this podcast after it's over, please comment. Hope it leads to more discussions. Not very good at putting thoughts into words, but you guys have the very best Sopranos podcast. Looking forward to the future content. Excuse me. A breakdown on a Bronx Tale would be awesome. And if you do Seinfeld, I'm sure I could turn my son onto it someday. Hope to have conversations about your podcast with others when your podcast becomes as pop culture as Sopranos.
Oh man, take that with speaking to existence. We'll take that.
God, I love this, bro.
Nah, that's real. That's real. It feels good to hear stuff like that, man. And mostly just because we love The Sopranos, and we'd be talking about this even if it was just the three of us listening every week, or if we just had a phone call just to discuss episodes. So the fact that everybody or most of you out there can listen to three strangers, three people you never heard of, it's a lot different when you are an established name. And Spike is in his own right.
Absolutely.
Especially if you follow hip hop and stuff, he's been doing this for a long time. But myself, Mo, just kind of come out the fold.
Yeah.
If you had one of your favorite celebrities talking about Sopranos, that'd be one thing. But for three people pick up a microphone, not even from the demographic, and for y'all to relate to it and really have the heartfelt words that you have, man, I really can't say it enough how much it means. It definitely puts a battery in the back.
Yeah, that's some amazing feedback, bro. Amazing feedback. We definitely appreciate that.
And y'all gotta remember real quick, we are post Talking Sopranos. Most of the Sopranos podcast came out before Talking Sopranos, which obviously is with Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa. You know, so we're one of the first ones post that, because when that came out, that was, you know, pretty much that was the connect, that was the brick, that was the go-to for the insider. So the fact that we came out after them and people are looking at us and saying, still, you guys are the best, and not only that, but we're black, so we have a whole different flip on it, and people still like, nah, this is the one. I appreciate that, bro. Like, I listened to pretty much every episode of Talking Soprano, and I got the book. So I understand where they're coming from. I do think that we do have the best Soprano podcast. That's, you know.
They probably looking at us like we thought they can only cover those old Tarzan movies. They do a pretty good job with Sopranos.
I thought they were going to do Planet of the Apes.
Still one of the wildest television scenes ever. Hey, Tony's out here wilding.
Hey, he really was.
You know what is interesting, real quick, before you move on to the next email? I don't know how sitcoms will work in this format.
I know.
I think they're a best, and once again, shout out to best episode ever. Spike and myself are co-hosts on that. That's going to be having its own feed very, very soon. That might be a best episode ever conversation versus a Good Earners scene by scene conversation where we try to figure out the best episode ever of a TV series. But we do it it's not like a top 10 list. We're not ranking episodes. We're literally have our own process to find out what's the best. Really cool format. We had some fun over there. So check that out and follow this feed. You'll see it at some point.
Yeah. I think certain sitcoms can work. Not every. Like, I think Seinfeld could work because it's a lot of setup to get to like the big bang at the end of the episode, the big reveal or whatever. I think a show like Martin could work because the isolated scenes, sometimes you got multiple things working, but not every sitcom. You're right. But I do think like a Seinfeld, I do think a Martin could work. I wouldn't say a Fresh Prince though. Like, as much as we love that, I wouldn't say Fresh Prince could work in this because every scene is not so much funny or whatever, you know. So, but I do think like a Seinfeld, like they don't waste. I literally just watched an episode called The Outing last night, and the fact that like people thought Jerry and George was gay, and bro, this episode is hilarious.
I don't think I seen that one,
bro. I haven't seen. My wife was like, bro, you don't remember when you seen this? I said, babe, I don't remember. I must have fell asleep, bro. The whole premise of it was like they kept saying, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like that's obviously a Seinfeld.
What season is it?
I would text you, bro.
Send it to me.
Matter of fact, I can find it now. But like, bro, it's the funniest thing because now they're both dealing with women, and Jerry ends up in the newspaper. And, bro, and then Elaine, her storyline is so petty. Like, she won't take her coat off when she be sitting down eating with people. Like, bruh, I said she is so undateable. Like, oh my God. That's why I said, bro, Seinfeld, it's got some stuff there, man. But I digress. So yeah, the Outing, the episode is season 4, episode 17. I'll throw it in the chat for you. But yeah, let me finish up our emails here. Also in our episode Made in America, Super Saiyan 0386. He says, oh man, I forgot about your channel and finally got one through the algo. Thanks, Skip. Forgot about our channel, but our channel made it through his algorithm. So shout out to Super Saiyan 0. I appreciate
you. You know, a good way to prevent that, just make sure y'all subscribe down.
Yeah.
Rate, subscribe, like, comment, all of that.
All of that. The whole 9. But no, we appreciate you getting back in the fold.
Yeah.
For the people that like it, that's one way to ensure that this continues to go. Because y'all know how the algorithms go as far as you know what you see, but make sure you subscribe to the channel because it benefits us and it creates a pathway for us to do more of this for you.
Absolutely.
It's one of the most highest rated episodes of Seinfeld, bro.
Bro, it's funny than the mother.
Yeah, it's
I gotta watch it tonight.
I'm looking at it right now. It's one of them. Yeah.
One of my funniest Seinfeld moments when they caught George eating out of the trash.
Y'all remember the donut joint? Oh my God.
I had real tears in my eyes.
bro, because George was in his bag. Like he impressed the parents, bro. He was in his bag up until that moment. And when that man ate that donut, that Boston joint, oh, he was a monster. Like,
hey, George is crazy.
Like Carmella finding AJ smoking weed in the garage and call him an animal. Like, that was George. For sure.
I used that quote today. That's probably, even though I do still think The Wire is better, I probably use more Soprano quotes on a daily basis.
I'll take that. I will take that.
I do definitely use
I'll take that.
Like, I say more Soprano stuff on a daily basis.
What's your number one? Like, just without thinking about, like, deeply, like, what's your, like, I just say this all the time.
Sometimes I walk in, sometimes it just pop out of my head, and if I know somebody knows Sopranos, I look at them and I say, like I did this yesterday to my homie at work because he watches Sopranos. I said, Christopher, I walked in, your head was in the toilet. Disgusting. Disgusting. I've said my piece.
I said my piece, Chrissy.
Said my piece, Chrissy.
What about you? I feel like Rick's probably still quotes The Wire more than Sopranos. Is that accurate?
It's probably closer than what you think, but yeah, okay. I probably would say.
Fair enough.
What's your go-to?
What's your go-to?
You got to go to?
Like just regular.
Wire?
Yeah, your regular.
No, Sopranos. The Wire is you want it to be one way, it's another way. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that and playing the dirt you get dirty. I use that a lot. For Sopranos, my go-to, I don't know. That's a good question. Because a lot of them aren't necessarily things that I say in my life. I'll randomly just blurt out like I was trying to say something positive because she's your friend.
Trying to say something positive.
Or like she must have crawled underneath me for some warmth. Like it just be fried shit that I just randomly blurt out and get weak.
So yeah, that's why I know I say more Soprano shit because it do just be fried shit that you'll blurt out, and if somebody get it, they get it.
By far, it's the easiest thing. I say this often. I be at work. It don't matter where I'm at. I be in a grocery store. Somebody drops some like
it's probably
like that's
Madon.
Yeah, Madon. Like I say that I work with a dude that's Italian, half Italian or whatever, and I still be like, Madon. Like
I'll think about when AJ told them that he wanted to be an event planner and they was in the room and Tony's in the closet. He looked kind of gay in it, like just this small dumb shit like that. I just say that out loud because it's so fried.
But it's
the way Tony said that shit. He was so confused, like
bro, I've already seen you with your shirt off on your laptop. Like, what's going on?
Tony used to be so disgusted with AJ.
Man.
Rightfully so.
All right, Acid Jack, man, he really rock with us. He actually sent us a physical email. So he left 2 comments and then he sent us a physical email.
He mailed it?
I could say he wrote a letter.
What I'm saying is he left a comment, a couple of comments, a couple of treat things on our YouTube, and then he also sent a actual email. So
shout out Acid Jack, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this real quick.
Is it too long?
Sure. I mean, it's not the same thing. We both. You sure? You sure?
I was like, should I expect to hear the end of this?
Yeah, we've heard this. We've heard this before, Mo.
Heard it all before. Nah. All right. So the subject line is a hit is a hit. Parentheses podcast. So he says, "Hey fellas, appreciate the big ups after my last couple of emails. Means a lot coming from the OG capos. I love hearing other listeners' thoughts and always enjoy drops in Don's like Chris Falone and Kiori, despite Paulie Walnut saying, remember Pearl Harbor. So,
that's fucking
Eddie.
Yo.
Hey, no, but Kiori said it first. He got ahead of it. So shout out to Kiori, man. That's the dude. That's the dog.
And Kiori has
shout out to Kiori.
And he have Asian.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's why I just said that shit.
But Kiori got him. But Kiori, that's why. See, our show made people like break the fourth wall on some okay, we can deal with racial things and nobody's taking it personal. You know what I mean? So
Kiori, remember?
Yeah, because Kiori
Kiori
been dropping some music on his IG page too.
And one of them songs is all right.
Shout out to him. Y'all go check that out.
One of them songs is all right for real. Like,
yeah, man.
Not y'all, but the people listening, y'all check that out.
And check out Kiori, man. He says, so I'm still not here to cop your joints or oh my gosh, or raw dog or glizzy (parentheses no veto). We aren't
Vito is
making a
crazy.
Western here, but I got to give you your flowers for finishing the show review portion of this pod. So speaking of glizzies, when you first started Good Earners, you were selling samples in the supermarket like Angie Bumpus. I was using Spike Lee line, selling sausage samples is crazy. That's the Spike. He said that like so many times. But he says, but by the end, y'all were strolling into the pool party with links around your neck like Tony, swinging, swinging and smacking around those sausages. In parentheses, shout out to Johnny Cakes.
Jesus Christ,
He says, you didn't compromise. You didn't eat grilled cheese off the radiator. Okay. We know Maurice didn't jack off into no damn tissue, parentheses, big up Mo's Good Earner, baby.
I see what he's doing, man. He's really putting this all together.
Hey, he's a real supporter. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, when we get you the reveal, man, go and follow us. And hey, listen. Then he says, even smaller, in italics, he says, hey, she slipped. We were arguing. She's a klutz. He says, as for the 3-hour finale, oof, that's a lot of money got. Respect to Spike. Manigo. Respect to Spike pulling up after recording all day and not crawling to the finish line like Adriana. Rich never running out of relevant references, and Mo skipping on AJ like Michelle. he won't let it go.
I'm impressed you're still reading.
You still finished in style. Meadow may not be able to parallel park a car, but you guys landed the plane on this one. Congrats again. Take your cut from the bird feeder. Don't get cunty. You deserve it. So I won't lie. Not having a weekly Good Earners episode is going to hurt. Parentheses, I know, baby boy.
I know, baby boy. But that shit was wild.
But whatever comes after, I know you will put the finesse on it. You boys are in your bag. Put Tony C. P.S. Mo not giving the finale a made rating. I ain't going to hold you. AJ scenes do bring it down a bit, but the sit down with Butchie, the Tony and Paulie scene, the Tony and Janice scene, the Tony and Junior scene, Phil's death, the cut to black in the dinner, man, seeing Hunter making Carmela eat shit one last time was worth the price of admission alone. This doesn't qualify for made ? Angry Johnny Sack voice. All I can say is, Mo, eat a cookie. You're delirious.
And what's his name again?
I see why he
go by his Tony C. He put that there, but his email name is Acid Jack.
Acid Jack. That's in the email Hall of Fame right there, bro.
Yeah, he's got
that's straight up.
That is
he bodies it every time.
Fantastic work by you, my guy.
It really is.
That's incredible.
Made it, and we got a couple more.
Nigga, we asked Mo how many emails. He said not that many. Nigga, I swear.
I told you the number is 6.
That's all you read so far? 4?
Yeah.
Damn.
Jeez.
All
right. Jeffrey comes back again. He says, if you know there's a hit out on you, why would you be driving around? Hold on, let's extend this. If you know there's a hit on you, why would you be driving around with your grandkids in the car? And another thing, why was Phil's wife driving? If you knew there was someone looking to kill you, would you want your wife driving, or would you be driving so you can be defensive? If you see something that doesn't look right, Phil doesn't even act like he's hiding.
He's not hiding. He was upstate. Like he didn't think anybody knew where he was. Like he was under the impression that his cover hadn't been blown. That's why he was there with the grandkids and his wife. Yeah. So now, like it makes sense. We can't try to make it not make sense. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I think also too.
Unless do y'all disagree?
No, but I think it's a metaphor too that Phil didn't wear the pants like that. Phil was similar to Junior.
Oh, I never got that.
I got that because she was.
Okay. You talking about from the veto stuff?
Yeah. Like he never really like she was really conducting the whole situation or whatever. So I think that's why she was driving.
He
That was
didn't
like a
even know
metaphor.
what was going on. I don't even think she knew what was going on.
She definitely didn't know what was going on. Like he downplayed
Yeah,
it. Like
and the whole wives don't get hit thing. I probably,
that's probably part of it.
Cool.
It's like, yeah, I can duck off. So yeah, no, good point.
About that.
No, that's not a good point. It's a great observation, but I don't think it's a good point. Because again, I'm operating under the premise that Phil, he don't know that they turned on him. He don't know that the feds knew where he was at. Like, so I'm operating like Tony's gonna be dead soon. I'm gonna spend some time with my family. He don't even know where I'm at. I'm out here. I can move freely upstate. Okay.
Yeah. He also
I ain't gotta hit the mattresses.
He replied, Jeffrey hit us with he says, in another thing, Phil's car should have been in park already. Who gets out of the car before it's in park? Makes no sense. Now y'all know I
will give her a little bit of. I'll give her a little bit of.
Y'all kept trying.
That's why your nigga get rocked.
Nah, bruh. I don't care what's going on. It's mechanical. It's mechanical memory. Like there's nothing in the world that makes me say, "Let me hurry up and get out the car." Like
without putting it in drive.
Yeah, because you ain't never seen nobody get their brains blown out in front of you.
Have you not ever like turned off your car without putting it in park?
No.
Really?
Yes. I've definitely done that.
I've definitely done that before. Like, oh shit.
I've got out the car without taking with the car still running. Like I'm on some fried shit.
Now that I've done.
Yeah. Bro,
I'm still in park though.
I went and ate a whole meal with the car still running, and we came back like, damn, the car was running.
You had your keys with you, or it was?
Yeah, you got the key fob.
Oh, but you didn't like press the button and stop.
The car running, it was quiet, yeah. So like, you ain't really like. But I was with one of my homegirls, but she didn't remember to cut it off. I didn't remember to cut it off, and we come back out like, damn, the car been running this whole time. So you can have that lapse of memory, especially if a nigga get popped in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I give him a little bit, even if you're what you're saying. Let's say you don't do it, I get it, but it's reasonable to believe that if you saw somebody, especially your spouse, if they head rocked in front of you, it's okay. I'll give her a pass for not putting it in the park.
It's okay, baby boy.
He don't like me hit him while wifey was with him. Shout out to Big, man. Say, nigga, we gonna kill you in front of your wife, nigga. That's how much we don't like you, Phil. And your grandkids. Core memory.
We're gonna find out where your mama stay, where your grandmama stay. And lastly, Mr. Wesley, man, it seemed like he's doing well. He DM'd us. He said, much respect to you and the family and Spike and Rich. That $100 million bag is coming. Keep up the great work, brothers. And then he also, I replied back to him, just, of course, telling him prayers to him and stuff, everything he went through. And then he said, he's like, man, it's coming. You three have inspired me to return to writing and recording hip hop. Nobody out there is seeing any content y'all put out. Everything else dies on the vine. Mr. Wesley.
Thank you, man. We're glad you're all right, Mr. Wesley. Hope you're moving around.
Send us some of your stuff once you got it up and running.
Yeah, come on with that, man. DM us. I'll make sure I get it to the guys. A little bonus one here. Just somebody hit us up the other day. I just want to make sure I acknowledge them because it takes courage to reach out to a podcast that you really enjoy. So I want to make sure I acknowledge them. It's nothing long. It's
how'd they reach out to you?
DM. They DM'd us on Instagram.
What you laughing at, Rich?
Nigga said it takes courage.
It does take courage. All right, let's see. Now look, y'all gonna be Michelle 2.0 out here.
It's just funny the way you say. I know what you mean. It's just the way, like when I think of courage, I was thinking about sending the DM.
Laughing at Rich.
Well, I'm saying on a basic scale. Like this is not like it took everything in you to muster up the But Connor Klein, he hit us up. He says, man, he said I don't even think he followed or not, but he said missing the pod.
He didn't follow?
I think he followed.
Connor,
I didn't know.
Connor. Come
no,
on,
he
Connor.
followed. I don't think I followed.
Button.
I don't think I followed him, but he followed.
Oh, you don't got to do that. Yeah, you ain't got to do that.
I try to, like, depending on what the case is.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but we ain't Hollywood. But he just said missing the pod. Any back of the beans coming soon? ? And I just told him, tune in Monday.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Connor.
So by the time,
appreciate
thanks,
you,
Connor, man. Appreciate that, CK. All right, here we go. So I'm I'm gonna step for a second, but Rich, I'm gonna put the ball in your court, and I'll be back on screen in a second. So here's the reveal, man. So I want you
Are you
to
finna grab some artwork or something?
something like
This
that.
is new to us too, fans.
No.
So should me and Rich talk about how we got here to where what we're about
Yeah.
to do?
Like because we're about. This is the reveal. We're working. Now we're getting into the reveal.
So
So that's all
when
our
you come
emails.
back, on screen, you're going to have the reveal. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if y'all can give the reveal, but just y'all can work towards it. Like just say like, okay, let the listeners in on the inside. Like I'm about to be
Help
quick.
us
Like I just
time it
gotta.
out though. Okay, so you gonna be right back.
Yeah. It's not about to be like I'm
And
about to
when
be.
you come right back, people will know what the reveal is.
Yeah, if y'all haven't already said it. If y'all say it, it's fine. Like I'm gonna come in and give my 2 cents
No,
regardless.
I mean, because we can talk through like some of the thought processes we have of the next
Okay, I'll
thing.
tell you what. Here's the perfect way. We give y'all real time edits. Talk
what they tune in
about
for.
talk about honorable mentions.
Because we could go.
Talk
I was
about
gonna say
honorable.
we could go through shit we could have did, shit we
Go
wanted
through
to
our honorable
do.
mentions. Like we know that we worked in our discussions as far as our honorable mentions. So start there. I think by the time I come back, y'all might still be talking honorable mentions. I can chime in, and we'll get to the reveal.
Mo,
Okay.
if you go put on a lab suit, I am.
What what am I missing?
Nothing. We didn't know. It's all good. Do what you got to do, Mo.
Yeah.
Okay, here I'll tell you what. Here's how I'm gonna do it. I'll lead it off, and then we'll go this way. All right, so here's what we're doing, y'all. This is the reveal. Without further ado, but before the reveal, let's give y'all some honorable mentions. There has been a lot of talks about Friday Night Lights. There's been talks about Game of Thrones. There's been talks about a few others. I want to kind of leave a little suspense because if I say the third one, y'all gonna already know what the reveal is in this real time. So Friday Night Lights, I'll just say this: we can't go from Sopranos to Friday Night Lights. So that it's nowhere near the same tier. They're not in the same class.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hey, that's crazy.
No,
Stop.
no, 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 no. I'm not
You
saying
got
I
Coach
never
Taylor
once
messed
said
up.
that you're wrong. I want to know when I ask you what does that mean? I mean, when you look at the next show, do you look at a certain like, hey, we just did a show like this, so we can't do a show like that? Are you trying to keep it within like? Well, let me ask you this, real simple.
Okay.
Do you think Friday Night Lights is prestige television?
I got to go back and watch. It could be prestige. I mean, it probably is. I watched.
When was the last time you did watch?
It's been years.
Okay,
It probably been
I
like.
think an
It might have
argument.
been.
It makes sense that you're
It might
saying
have been
this.
like 20.
It makes sense that you're saying this.
16 maybe.
I don't think it's crazy to say that Friday Night Lights is the most underrated show of all time.
I could definitely get on board with that.
I think it is.
Know.
It's one of those
I gotta go
Friday Night Lights. So I say this about Succession. It's one of those series where it may not have the highs of The Sopranos or The Wire or Breaking Bad, but there isn't a bad episode of Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
And that's hard to do. It ain't a bad episode of Succession. What I think, and if you need to go off screen mode,
So here real
well,
quick.
I think the conversation needs to start is, as much as we reference The Wire, I think it's interesting as to, we'll go ahead and reveal that that's not next.
Okay, so y'all going into that The Wire and talk about Game
Because
of Thrones.
I like Rich's reason as far as The Wire. So, Rich, if we had suggested doing The Wire next, what would you have said?
I wouldn't say no if it really came down to it, but I would have passionately have mentioned. I would have probably had a lot more say so than what I did in Good Earners. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to this stuff, and me, Spike, Mo, we all recorded not just here but different places as well. I'm pretty team player. Like whatever the squad want to do, I'm with it. Like draw up the play, let's run it and execute it. The Wire means so much to me that that's one of the few instances where I would be slamming my hand on the table like, nah. We gotta do it like this. We gotta do that. If we are gonna do this, this is the amount of time I need to kind of prep and get ready for it mentally. because it just means that much. We talk about Sopranos, and Spike even mentioned how he just misses having a show like this to watch every single week, even if it is in preparation to discuss. That's how I feel about The Wire. Like I just know it's one and done. Like once we talk about that first episode, it's done. Once we talk about that second, it's done. And even though it does take some time to get through it, it does fly by. You know what I
Yes,
mean? You feel it while you were in it and in the middle of it, but then you start looking at that calendar and like, yo, we in the season 3 finale. You know what I mean? We in the
facts.
middle of season 4. You start really counting it down, and it's like, damn. So I wanted to make sure that I said it. That's going to be the Mona Lisa, the Sistine Chapel, one of the most in-depth pieces of work that I'll ever do. Like it's going to take. I might have to take a break from some other stuff that I do just to make sure I don't miss any details with The Wire because it's that intricate of a show. Which is why I was like, nah, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on us yet. Plus, the bags will be coming in by then. So
You hit on a lot of the things that I feel as well about why The Wire isn't the next thing that us three will do together as far as scene by scene breakdowns, in a sense of that will be my 16th chapel. That will be my Mona Lisa. That will be my thing as to where it's like, oh yeah, y'all killed this. Like even like you said with the bags coming in, I envision us doing The Wire together in person. I envision being able to like that. That ain't a. I feel like The Wire is it's beyond the Zoom conversation or
yeah,
yard stream yard or whatever. It's beyond that conversation. The nuances of being amongst each other in each other's presence, being able to let each other free speak like how you need to speak when you in somebody's presence versus how you speaking on a Zoom. I don't think we would do The Wire justice, even though we could do it because we're good. We could do it. I just don't think we would do it as much justice as like how I view the show. So that's one of the reasons I didn't want to do The Wire next. I think that's something like you said when this is a full-fledged running media company and oh, I'm flying here for a week because we're going to record 3 episodes and we have studio time booked and we're sitting here amongst each other discussing these things. Like you said, Rich, I got time booked off to watch this show, to take these notes, to listen to All the Pieces Matter, the book Behind the Wire, and just give insight to the things that are happening on screen as we're reviewing it. Like that's how I view The Wire working because that's how that piece of TV, that's how passionately I feel about that. So that's why The Wire isn't next.
not only that, to your point, that was very well said. I agree with everything. I have the DVD. I have a Wire on DVD. Like you better believe I'm gonna be listening to director commentary on every episode that's available. It's gonna take so much work, and just from a fan standpoint, I know there's not going to be too many other things that are going to get me as excited to
Facts.
discuss like The Wire. So it's one of those where if you do that, if we do The Wire next, not saying I wouldn't have because a lot of this podcasting is just getting able to talk to these two brothers, and having that kind of companionship and camaraderie and fellowship when we do these episodes. But from a personal standpoint in the prep, I always tell people, man, it's like being an athlete. Like professional athletes always say, we never when it's time for retirement, it's never about can we still play. We know we can still play. Do I still feel like putting in the work in the off season to get ready to play? And that's how a lot of this stuff is. Like, do I want to look at this stuff like, man, I don't feel like watching this or taking notes, blah, blah, blah. I know the Wire is going to be like at the top of the top. I want to make sure I save that. So yeah.
Facts.
And Mo don't even like the Wire. He said he ain't even gonna be a part of it.
No,
So.
no, no. I only like
Yeah,
the
so it
first.
might just
I,
be a
on-
me
I
and Rich
only
too, man.
no. I only like the first 3 seasons. That's
That's
first.
Not like in
That's
season 4 is
bla-
insane.
That's blasphemous, bro.
Nah, it is not, bro.
It
Like when they
is
start getting the kids involved,
blasphemous.
it,
You
it
better
takes a
you
hell of a
you
turn,
actually
bro.
better than this, Mo. You're better than that.
When's the last time
Like
you watched The Wire?
you're
Bro,
better
I
than
watched
saying
it during the pandemic.
you're better than saying I looked at this whole every episode and I only like this. Like The Wire is not that type of show. Like it's not a show where you can say, you know, I this season and that season I really didn't I didn't like it. Like the whole thing put together is a masterful thing.
I'm not
So
saying it's not masterful. It just don't resonate for me.
Interesting. We'll get to that when we get to the wire, but we can go into
look,
game.
but yeah, we'll get to that. But these brothers, like after many conversations, even though we know we're not doing it next, I was willing because I think Rich was really both of them was like, hey, well, you don't like it as much as us. We still feel like it could be really interesting. And I was like, after deep thought, I said, you know what? If they're good with that, then I say, you know what? I won't be a Mike, but I will definitely be here because there are definitely things that I really enjoy about The Wire. Let's be very clear. Like there's moments and characters that I really like in The Wire. So it's not like I don't like nothing about. No, I definitely got moments and characters that I enjoy when it comes to watching The Wire. But I don't have the same sentiment as these brothers do when it comes to The Wire.
And that's what makes it even better. That's why I say that's an automatic yes for you. So I would love to hear somebody's perspective of that and how we can have those conversations around it, whether it's something of understanding or just simply, hey, I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason why. And plus, this is a 3-man, so
yeah, no doubt.
It'd be weird to have you just say, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, no. But I was already with the program when we were deciding, but we decided not to do The Wire. Now we were in our chain and we brought up Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Why did we
decide not to do that?
Why did we decide?
Because Mo would not allow us to name it niggas on the throne. That's why we decided to do that.
The simple reason.
He took the fun out of it.
Mo couldn't be associated with nothing out of that. Sucked all the fun out of the situation, and we didn't want to do it then. But I will say this.
Yeah,
when we're speaking about The Wire and that being your Mona Lisa and your 16th Chapel, Game of Thrones, episode to episode, scene to scene, talking about it with y'all two, that's going to be some like epic shit. Like that. Mm-hmm. I already watched Game of Thrones maybe, I want to say it was less than a year ago. And you forget some of the stuff that just happens in those episodes that you could have. Like we talking about probably a 4-hour episode on some shit. Like it's so much shit that go down. And so many conversations that can be had off the stuff that's happening in that. Like it ain't, I don't put it in The Wire because The Wire, of course, is more realistic. But when you actually zone into that world and you like, I'm in the Game of Thrones world, I'm watching this on a weekly basis or a daily basis or however I'm binging it to prepare for the show, like there's so much stuff that comes up. It's so complex. It's so like your opinions on characters from how they change from season to season, whether it be Cersei, whether it be Jon, whether it be Robb, whether it be the mom, whether it be Ned, like it's so much stuff to discuss. Especially how we broke down broke down The Sopranos. I know that there are going to be some very long, thorough conversations about these characters, about the things that happen in this scene. You looking like that because the Knicks lost.
They got walked down again.
I knew. That's how I know, Rich. Like I knew exactly what that face was. I gotta watch
the YouTube to see that.
You knew exactly. That's exactly what that face was for. I looked at the date and looked up. Like, hold on, maybe I'm looking at Monday's score.
No. They got walked down.
But yeah, I agree with everything Spike said. Like it could be that, and it will take a little bit more time to figure out how to condense it without compromising. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was kind of the same. I was when these brothers decided to say, "Hey, nah," I was like, "Yeah, I kind of can see that," but I do think our flavor and style and our perspective, it would be fly talking about Thrones. Like I think we would have quite the funny take on it epic. In moments. They'd be like,
when we do Game of Thrones, it's us three like black dudes that do TV reviews that have The Sopranos under our belt, and the next episode, the next series that we're about to do. When we do Game of Thrones, it's going to be something that people would want. They're going to want to hear that.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything else that was even close into the call before we give the reveal that was in the realm of possibility? I know Rich brought up Sons of Anarchy, but I don't know if we ever truly.
It wasn't a serious contender.
It was like further out in the consideration.
Yeah, it is something that could be discussed. But Friday Night Lights, The Wire, Game of Thrones, and then obviously the one that we haven't named that we're gonna go ahead and move forward with.
We'll let Mo take over for it.
All right. Well, so without further,
I thought you was going to grab a gas mask, bro.
A gas. All right. So without further ado, man, I thought about leaving some hints on our IG page, Good Earner Pod _Sopranos. But I say, you know what? Let's let it marinate. So without further ado, the next show that the Good Earner crew is going to do is Breaking Bad. Now, before we reveal the name, how did we come to this point to choose Breaking Bad as the next show? Rich, I'll let you go first. What made you say this is the right move?
We had mentioned there was some discussion about Game of Thrones, the name, and it really wasn't too much of a. There's not really a sexy story behind it. It's more so like this is a good show. It's kind of in the same vein, similar to what you said earlier, Mo, when you talked about Friday Night Lights being different. Breaking Bad and Sopranos they have very similar characteristics when it comes to the lead character, the anti-hero, all of that kind of stuff that ties into it. And it was just more so like, you know what? We can get into this because for me, it's been a while. I don't know if I've ever rewatched Breaking Bad outside of my initial watch.
Me neither.
And I knew it was something that I wanted to do, so that led to it as well. Because it's almost like a fresh lens getting into. I know what happens, but I can't connect the dots. I couldn't tell you the same way I can tell you about Sopranos and bring up these small, intricate details and moments. I can do it with The Wire. I can do it with all these shows, but I couldn't do it with Breaking Bad. And it's not until I start watching it again that I'm going to remember certain things. But I thought that you can make the case for Tony and Walter being very similar as far as the fans just loving them. And there's an argument for Walter as you get later on. I don't think you have the same love for Walter as you did for Tony. Like you recognize that his scumbagness a little bit sooner. And he's not the same likable character that Tony is. But you do have those anti-heroes. You have, I mean, listen, if you ever want to see what AJ did with his life, he turned into Jesse Pinkman. You know what I mean? Like that, I see that. You have Carmella and Skyler. The Carmella and Skyler comparisons. Like all of it is right there, but it's a completely, even with all those similarities, it's a completely different show. And the setting of it, the reason why it even happened, as far as like why is he selling drugs, what it led to. Gustavo Fring, one of the best characters, in my opinion. Mike, one of the best like B characters ever. Thanks. So there's so much that you can talk about and discuss, and it feels cool. One thing about these shows is to re-enter these worlds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Re-enter the worlds.
This is when we're talking about Game of Thrones and we're talking about The Sopranos, we're talking about Game of Thrones, we're talking about The Wire. That's a multi-cast led show in the sense of like that a lot of different things are going on. As far as the transition to what we just did with Good Earners and Walter White being the primary focus of the show, I think it's a natural transition. These are the two, in my opinion, two of the biggest anti-heroes that you're going to have in pop culture in nowadays. So the transition of the conversation from Tony to Walter, which we're going to be having with the new podcast, it makes the most sense. That's why I voted for us to do this way. Like some of the same, we're going to play on some of the same strings, but it's completely different too, as Rich was saying. Like Tony and Walt are like you can look at Tony and you can love him. You can look at that whole series and be like, nah, that's my guy. You can go at this and look and walk him like he's a piece of dirt. Yeah. Especially on the rewatch, since y'all haven't watched it. I've rewatched it maybe 2 years ago, I think. This is the last time I rewatched it. I'm rewatching Better Call Saul now at a very slow pace when I remember I'm on this last episode of it. So I'm kind of getting glimpses. With Walt, I'm excited to explore in the way that we do our podcast the differences on how we feel about Walt versus Tony when both of those guys are anti-heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this next. I think it's a great correlation to
Yeah.
you gave him this bail and you judging him harshly for this. And I'm really excited to hear from you two brothers because it's double standards for me. I got double standards for Tony just because I think he's a cooler person. I
That's it.
appreciate his lifestyle more, and it's some shit that he may have done that is worse than what Walt have done, but it's gonna rub me a lot differently than when Walt do it. And that's going to be a fun thing to talk about. Like that's going to be one of those things when we get in those emails and we have those moments when people are like, well, how you look at this way, and I listen to Good Earners and you look at this way for Tony. That's going to be the great part of doing this directly after doing The Sopranos. So I thought it was the natural move to do. I can't wait to do it. I've looked at Breaking. This is my. This will be, as we're doing this podcast, I think my third to fourth rewatch of this series. So I can't wait.
And real quick before you go, Mo, just to that point, y'all can hang out with Tony. And y'all introduced me to Tony, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, yeah, he an awful person, but I get why they hang with him. I don't think you can convince me of that with Walt. Like, you couldn't introduce me to Walt. I would pull both of y'all to the side. Like, what the fuck is y'all doing hanging with them? Like,
Why are we with it?
What do y'all see? Yeah, what do you see? Like, what is it? You don't have to explain that with Tony. I get it. You can everybody.
Nobody
can see
in the Breaking Bad world is worth hanging with. Not Gustavo, not Hank, not Jesse. There's not one person.
I fuck with Gus though. I fuck with Gus.
I wouldn't hang with no Gus though.
There's some people I would know. I would like to know some people, but not hang.
But he too secretive. Like he'd be like
Mike maybe.
Well,
yeah,
but you're going off
I look at it. Who would I want to have a beer with?
But you're going off the Better Call Saul vibe. Like if we don't get Better Call Saul,
that's the person that I will hang out with
again. But again, if you don't get Better Call Saul, see, we got that content.
That's
now.
A good point because he's too extra. He's too extra on Breaking Bad.
I hated Saul in Breaking
and again,
Bad.
For those listening and wondering why we picked this, that's the reason. These are the type of conversations that we're going to be able to have because that's interesting. I'm thinking through it now, and I'm like, yeah, man, you might be right.
You think it's Slipping Jimmy,
but I've been I've been looking at Better Call Saul recently, and I understand it. But if I'm just looking at Breaking Bad, it's like you're a snake, bro.
That terrible hairpiece, your baggy ass suits. You got the little, consultant place in the little plaza. Yeah.
That's fair.
And I can't wait till we talk about Mike because, boy, they did an excellent job when we talk about like the storytelling with Mike because I hated him in Breaking Bad.
Did you?
But absolutely,
that's crazy.
Absolutely, I could
He's
not. I
ain't even gonna blow it.
Stand Mike, bro. I was so stoked when he was about to get whacked. Like I
can't wait to start this. So you got to break that down for me.
All right, but for me, let me give my 2 cents on. So when we decided to pick this, for me, there's a formula that we have, whether we noticed it or not. And obviously, I'm the one that is doing the production side of our show. There's a formula. I always look at formulas when it comes to creating shows, and I'm looking at 4 elements in each show, no matter what it is. Like if it's Spike's show with Animal Brown, or if it's Rick's with Ray P and School, I'm looking at the 4 core elements that make your show, that creates your show's identity. That's how anything I create, I'm looking at the elements. So when I looked at Good Earners, and I looked at what are the 4 elements, I'm looking at, okay, we got to have the funny. The funny has to be there. Whatever show we do next, we have to be able to create this funny element. So that's 1. 2, there has to be this vulnerability. where we have personal connections to not only the characters, but from that's things that tie into our own personal stories. We got stories that we've shared on here. So there's the vulnerability. Then also you got to have just the ignorance of how sometimes we don't have grace at all for the characters that we're dealing with. We've definitely ran Carmela through the ringer. And then lastly, we gotta it's gotta be a show that can be fun. It can't be overly serious, because I think that it changes the dynamic of what we do, where you don't get those reactions like Jeff, where he says, next time I want to go through it, I'm just gonna listen to y'all. You don't get that if we can't have fun with it. So those are kind of the 4 elements, and Breaking Bad lined up perfectly, in my opinion, to line up there. When we look at Tony to Walt, we look at Carmela to Skyler, we look at Jesse and Chris. You know, we look
Walt
at
Jr. Why you didn't do Walt Jr. to AJ?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. AJ Walt Jr. That's perfect. We look at.
I ain't fucking with Spike, man.
No, that's good. No, that actually works. I know you're getting that, but it still works. We get Hank and we get Agent Harris. You know what I mean? Or Grasso or whatever the captain was. So you can see a lot of comparisons. You get.
You could even compare Phil to Gus.
Phil to Gus.
Mm-hmm. I think Phil was the number, like, that was the ultimate villain in The Sopranos, Phil. Like, yeah, there were other villains. Like, Tony did have to face other problems, but Phil was the one that had to take him, like, to the. We didn't see Tony go to the mattresses before Phil. Like, Phil was the one that, like, I got my wife got to go live somewhere else. Like, it's shit's going down.
I got a hot
That's
take.
Gus Fring. That's Gus Fring in Breaking Bad world.
I got a hot take. We ain't get enough time with this character, but I feel like he's more Gus.
Don't say Tuco.
No. I'm going Feach Lamano.
Is more Phil. I mean,
more
it's more Gus.
More Gus than Phil. And here's why I say it. Because Phil was never really. He wasn't really. See, Gus was secretive. He kept you at arm's length. You never really knew what he was gonna do next. That's Gus. And so I feel like Phil was always up front with it, but I'm letting you know you still can't stop this. This is New York. It's Jersey. Man, come on, it's Jersey. But I feel like Feach was like, Tony was still like, he was like, he finessed him 3 times before Tony finally had to pick up, like, hey, bro, every time I catch you, you always doing something that So I feel like, even though we get a lot of time, I feel like Feach is more Gus, in my opinion, than Phil is.
And here's the great thing about this episode for the viewers that are listening. We're not going to do this. We're not going to compare The Sopranos to Breaking Bad as we're doing it, because we didn't do that with Good Earners. We're only going to talk about Breaking Bad. But the great thing about the people that are listening, y'all get to hear this now. I don't put Feach on the same level as a Gus.
He's not on the level.
So this is where we get to have this conversation. That we ain't gonna have this conversation when we're reviewing the episode, because it ain't gonna matter then. Like, we ain't gonna be talking about The Sopranos. We're gonna be talking about Breaking Bad. I view Feach as a soldier that Tony had to take care of. I view Gus and Phil as both bosses that another boss had to take care of. That's why I make the comparison there.
You downplaying Feach, because Feach had even the young boys.
Bro,
he had Chris and
you downplaying Gus.
No, I'm not. No, Gus. I'm not downplaying.
Gus was that nigga. You gotta think Gus made that walk out to, like, it's niggas shooting at me and they can't even kill me because I am who I am. With that episode that we talk about when he out there, like, I guess it was Chilean mafia, whatever the fuck he is a part of. Like, niggas was shooting. They were snipers out in the hills shooting, ready to kill, but this is who he is, and they can't kill him because it's Gus. Like, Gus was that nigga, just like Phil was that nigga.
I hold Gus highly. I just don't. Phil was not. He really wasn't really. We love him, but he wasn't really. He shouldn't have really been captain.
But he still was that nigga though. Phil was that nigga, bro.
But he wasn't on Gus level. See, if Robert Loggia could have remembered his lines, because he was starting to build morale. Like, he was really getting niggas on his side. Like, he had already got Junior, he had got Tony B. Chris was really rocking with him, as well as what's the young boy that already had a beef with? Benny, like Benny. He really had them, like, you know what I mean? And then he connected, he talking to Johnny Sack, like he really was on, like Tony still didn't know his moves.
I just want to make sure I understand, Mo. You're telling me that Feach LaManna was on the same level as Gus Fring.
What I'm saying is Phil is not
I ain't talking about Phil. I'm talking about Feach and Gus.
I'm trying to find the closest version to Gus in the Soprano world. That's what I'm getting at.
The only holes I would say in what you just said, Mo, is you talking about he had Benny, he had Chris, but those are the same two people that put him up, because Tony said, "Hey, I need y'all to go over here and set this up."
Well, yeah, of course.
I don't think that happens if they were really on it. Like, they would have ran back and told Feach if they were really against it. And he ain't had Tony B either. Tony B just happened to be a nigga he went to jail with. If it came down to it, he ain't going against Tony, his cousin.
But he did go against his cousin, though, like a few times.
Did he?
Bruh,
he was trying to make him a name.
Tony told him, like, "Hey, bruh, chill out," and he still went after.
But there was nothing on the line. If it was on some, like, we're pushing you out, like if Feach came to Tony B and said your cousin is out of here, Tony B's not going for that.
I mean, yeah, he not gonna do that.
Same way Chris and Benny didn't go for it when they busted that nigga for them TVs.
What's your holdup, Mo? I'm wondering, like what's your apprehension with saying that Gus is more of a,
because Phil is not Phil is not that strategic. The idea of Phil is, but when we reviewed it, I realized that he's not. We just talked about his wife driving the whip. We just, like, you hiding, you're Tony and Carmine Jr., Lil Carmine pull up to the house, you're staying in the house. Like, Gus would never do this. Like, Gus is never gonna stay in the house. You're talking to me through the window. That's right.
So you putting Gus above Phil?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I was misunderstanding you. I was thinking that you were saying that Phil was like right there with Gus.
Well, I'm saying we're looking at, like, we're trying to find in the world of Soprano, how can we find because all of the characters we lined up fit, but like Phil is not the Sopranos version of Gus, and I'm trying to find the Sopranos version of Gus. That's
might not be one.
Probably Johnny Sack.
Might not be one, man. Gus is one
Soprano,
of one.
but
it's probably Johnny Sack.
But Johnny Sack is too loud. Like, Gus is not loud as far as, like, his moves. Like, Johnny Sack was like, man, I ought to kill this mother, like, at a funeral. Like, he was ready to kill Carmine Jr. right there.
Good point.
That's the hard
really
point.
Good point.
So that's why I said Feach, because I'm like, Feach, he was loud, but he was.
This. Look at him. He even doing this to prove his point. Look what you did to Mo.
Ew. But I said Feast because Tony never caught on to his moves, similar to Walt didn't catch on to Gus's moves like that.
He caught on to him.
Yeah, but way after the fact. So that's the only reason. So it's a hard comparison.
That's gonna be a fun conversation to have. We hope y'all are prepared.
Whenever we find like a back of the Bing version of, well, I guess we should reveal the name of the podcast at this point, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Did you finish your point? Did you finish your thoughts?
Yeah, that'll do.
Appreciate your thoughts.
That was a good lead-in.
Yeah, that's perfect. So the name of our podcast, if y'all looking for it, No More Half Measures, a Breaking Bad podcast. So y'all can find it on Apple and all of your local podcast apps. Also, we're on YouTube, No More Half Measures. If y'all Breaking Bad fans, y'all know where it comes from. If you're not Breaking Bad fans, y'all got a lead up because
you're gonna learn.
You're gonna learn today.
One day we'll tell the story about the argument between picking a name for this. Me and Spike felt like there was the perfect name for this podcast, and Mo,
whatever.
It was similar to niggas on the throne.
Whatever the back of the Bing, whatever the back of the Bing version is for this Breaking Bad podcast, we're going to have the conversation about what should have been the name of this podcast.
I ain't gonna say
But
should have, but what
but
could
we
have.
respect this. This is how much respect that we have for Mo and wanting him to be a part of it and his creative abilities.
Hey, listen.
It got to the point.
This is
It got to the
that's
point.
what it is. Because
It
there's
got
a
to
lot. There's a better name for this podcast.
It got to the point where Mo was like, you know what? If y'all want to name it that, that's cool. I'm out though. I can't be associated with it. It was like,
And let me keep it a bean. The name that we chose still wasn't what I wanted. So
what was the name you wanted? What's the name you wanted?
Hey, Mo. You ate grilled cheese on the radiator. You're compromised.
You compromised. Hey, what was the name you wanted?
I jacked off in the tissue.
Yeah.
I really, to be honest, I really wanted Good Methods.
Good Methods. You know what the crazy thing is? One of my homeboys who listens to our podcast, he gives me feedback about it. He thought that was the best name. And I told him to explain it to me.
I sent it to my sister too, and she thought it was too.
I told him to explain it to me why, and it just didn't make sense.
He didn't explain it well.
I couldn't get him to. I didn't understand. Again, you know how I am.
Yeah, I know how you
done
are.
Another week with the books with me, like
you know, episodes.
It's different with me versus talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
I still couldn't. I couldn't understand why he said that was the best name title, but it did make me more. Shout out to you, and we'll talk about this on it. Y'all go check out Another Week in the Books. It's gonna be a great episode this Thursday. But shout out to you. It did make me more open to like, well, why do you think that way versus just shutting it down? Because I really wanted to understand why he thought that was a good name for this.
Well, I'll say this in a brief
moment.
So I had this idea of keep building on this good brand. So I'm looking at, we got Good Earners. That's the initiator of our good brand. And so I'm looking like, okay, let's continue this good brand and go into our next podcast. So Good Methods, obviously. So I sent it where you capitalize the METHE, or METH, all caps. So that's meth, but it's methods. And obviously methods tying into the methamphetamine, but also what is the chart, the Breaking Bad chart?
Periodic table.
So that, and then also when you got meth, then you got ODS. That's the last letters of it. So ODs. And obviously later in Breaking Bad, somebody ODs. So methods, you got the OD element of it. So for me, I'm thinking this might be rapper Mo coming in. So it all kind of lined up. Capitalize the METH.
It's political.
That's definitely political. But then the ODS, you know what I'm saying? So for me, and then I had an idea of like the intro and all that. But you know, I wasn't sure.
I'm not saying it's bad. I did not get it.
I
didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I won't even say it didn't draw me. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand like the Good Methods name. I did understand it from a sense of branding in the good earners, good methods, which is why I was open to it, but I didn't understand the methods part of it.
Okay. Fair.
And I think part of it was I thought we had the name.
Yeah, we did.
And it was hard to kind of readjust and recalibrate.
Yeah,
the name was there, man. This shows how much respect me and Rich have for Mo.
Just give him the name.
No. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. But this shows how much respect Mo try to act like we be clowning him. But this shows how much respect Rich and I have for Mo.
No, I know y'all had respect for me. I never thought y'all didn't like respect me. I never got that from your brothers,
especially from a creative sense, though. Because what I do appreciate about you, Mo, from doing Another Week in the Books with you is you have these things that you're willing to stand on. These things these things define me. And I'm not willing to compromise for them. And I always have appreciation for people who take that stance. The stance of like, nah, bro, I can't, because I'm like that.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that I'm never going to compromise on. I don't give a fuck if you make a good case. I don't care if it makes the most sense. There's certain things me as Spike Lewis, like I'm just not gonna compromise on it, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't push back on you when you say that. So when you said like that name, I truly believe that it's the best name for the podcast. But when you like, I can't, bro. I can't do it. Like there are things like that in my life where I'm like, when people come to me, I can't do that, bro. I'm
I
sorry.
can't tax myself to it.
I
You know what I mean?
can't. I can't. I'm sorry. So I respect that.
Was you gonna say something, Rich?
Nah, not at all.
Oh.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, brothers, and that was the real thing. Was just like I was, and I even still, at the end of it, was willing to compromise, but I would not have been
You
happy
wouldn't.
about it.
You wouldn't.
No,
You wouldn't do it.
I did. Like I
We
made the
we was
statement.
gonna get a Grumpy Mo. If that had been the name, we was gonna get a Grumpy Mo.
If we get the name, then I wouldn't be introing the show.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. And me and Rich know that.
I'm not introing
Me and Rich
shit.
know that from working with you. It's like he's saying okay, but he don't mean okay.
No, I mean okay, but I'm not introing. It's like you're not gonna get
Nah,
my
you
voice.
didn't mean okay. You meant like if that's what y'all niggas want, it's cool.
I was on my Ralph Cifaretto if that's what it takes.
And I even said it in the message because as soon as we got that feeling, I said it like Mo, it really ain't that deep for like we can find the common ground, mainly because similar to what I said when I talked about not doing the wire. Like I don't want for this to be the only time we discuss it in this way.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want any of us walking into it already feeling like it's already off to a bad start. You know what I mean? It has to be a fresh slate for everyone. Everybody has to have the same mood and spirit going into it. And I have, Mo, who's been so creative, and obviously A Mike on this. We wouldn't want you or Spike or myself to walk into it already like, man, here we go. There's some bullshit. I don't even want to, the environment matters. So we're glad we got it all nipped out. But it will be a story to tell.
Oh yeah. We'll do that similar to our origin episode. So yeah, again, y'all go subscribe now.
So we're doing Breaking Bad. For those that weren't clear about it from that conversation, Breaking Bad is next.
Yes.
And what's the name of it?
No More Half Measures. In parentheses, a Breaking Bad podcast. Also, No More Half Measures on Instagram. So go subscribe to that now. Our YouTube page is active now, and there's no videos. But when we get to the end of this episode, I'm gonna drop the intro to the podcast just so y'all can get the vibe to fill out what we're doing. The way the podcast will be laid out, it'll be literally the same vibe as Good Earners, but it'll be in the world of Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
We got our own ranking system as well, and I will reveal that to the brothers when we get off air or whatever. So y'all go subscribe now. We're looking at fall. Is that what we're looking at, brothers? I think that's a good early
fall.
Early fall.
Not sure of an exact date. I think you mentioned early fall.
Around football season.
Yeah. So
okay, so that's what, September?
Yeah,
August, September or so.
Okay, so somewhere in September, we'll reveal it, and then also the episode when we do our first episode of Breaking Bad in our podcast, No More Half Measures. We'll drop it on both feeds, so it's gonna be on the Good Earner feed, but I'm not gonna drop any more after that. So y'all need to subscribe.
First one, just the first one.
Just the first one. That's it. I'm not gonna drop any more because I don't want to muddy the waters. As far as what Good Earners look like, we talked about it early in the episode. We plan to do mafia movies. We plan to do character analysis, but we will not be on some designated schedule. We'll do it based on how things line up.
So what that means is subscribe to the channel, rate, subscribe, like, do all that good shit. And when we do drop stuff, you will get an alert. So make sure if you fuck with that channel, you fuck with what we do with the Sopranos, and you want to hear more about what we do around that world and the conversations that we have about gangster television, subscribe.
Also, in that same vein, please make sure you're still subscribed to this feed.
Yes.
Because we will be having Back of the Bings and things like that. Yes. We won't just leave you cold turkey from now to fall. Even though it won't be weekly or as frequent, we still will be having more conversations, character breakdowns, even some of those movie discussions, Many Saints and Newark. There's still stuff that's going to be on this feed, so please do not unsubscribe.
Yeah, and also lastly, we were going to do the bracket, but we wanted to spend enough time to give context because we really didn't want to hold y'all over. Y'all have been such faithful fans, and we are so grateful and appreciative of all y'all for reaching out, leaving comments for all this time. And we know that we've let it marinate for a little bit, but we wanted to give y'all updates. So we thought that
this was enough.
Yeah, this definitely was enough.
Yeah. The bracket can happen at any point in time.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the next episode, like we line it up. The next episode, let's do the bracket because I don't want to go too far
That's
out.
fine.
But yeah, we're gonna have the bracket coming soon as far as the mobsters from The Sopranos bracket. Shout out to Kiori. Anything else you fellas want to leave the listeners before? Because I mean, you know, they don't know when they're gonna hear from us again. It won't be too long, but they don't have an exact date. It's not a week to week thing. So anything I want to leave them before we get out of here?
We are the one who knocks. That's all I gotta say. We're the one who knocks, bro. So when you get ready for this Breaking Bad podcast, remember that we are the one who knocks.
Rich,
you should have went last. Nah, just like as I said, just stay subscribed. We'll see y'all sooner rather than later. Like hopefully, the goal is maybe to have another episode out by the end of the month.
Yes, I
whether
agree.
it's the bracket or something like that. Yeah, so you'll hear from us sooner rather than later. But
yeah,
we are the ones who knock, and don't ever forget that.
Mm-hmm. And also, don't ever forget we the fucking ones who calls the shots. Yeah, yeah.
This is what I will say. So we can go ahead and get,
feel me?
So we can go ahead and get in front of it. We need to create an email where they can go ahead and start sending the Breaking Bad.
The emails exist. No more half measures at gmail.com. It exists.
No more half measures at gmail.com. Make sure y'all know what we're doing now. Y'all know our style. Y'all know how we do with the emails. Go ahead and start sending those emails over in preparation for the first episode of the Breaking Bad breakdown. It will be in the fall, but that don't matter. Go ahead and start getting that over to us. That way we'll have a nice, healthy amount of emails when we start that first episode. So what was it again, Mo?
No more half measures at gmail.com.
Go ahead and start sending the emails now about episode 1, season 1 of Breaking Bad.
Oh, absolutely. Because we will read those on air. Yes. Y'all know how we do. We will respond. Or even if y'all got some stuff, just some overall thoughts of Breaking Bad, we'll read on air. So yeah, get ahead of it, man. Y'all can subscribe. I shout out to Living Single, real quick sidebar. They just started a podcast. It's Erica Alexander and Kim Cole. I subscribe. It's called Reliving Single. Bro, they already got they damn near got I think they got 400 reviews already, bro. They hadn't even put out episodes. Now the episode's out now, but that was before. But y'all could do the same thing for us, man. Yo, hype me up. You know what I'm saying? Get over there, throw some comments in y'all gotta check this out. I don't even know what the episode's gonna be, but y'all gotta check. Go over there, hype us up for real.
Build it up.
But we thank y'all for listening, man. We will be back again with the brackets. Hopefully this back of the bean is a refresher, and hopefully it's making y'all Monday great. Y'all are vibing, and y'all just glad to be back with us, as we're glad to be able to share this with y'all, man. I'm glad to be with my brothers here. This is wonderful. Thank y'all for tuning in, and remember, don't forget about it.